Dear student, today I will take the topic conditions for maximum discharge for a given value of specific energy. Okay, we are going to find out the conditions for the maximum discharge, okay, for a given value of a specific energy. Okay, already you studied the equation for the specific energy. E is equal to H plus V square divided by 2G, right? You already studied the equation, specific energy equation. See, ek plus ep plus ek, right, is the potential energy and kinetic energy. Okay, already you know the velocity is equal to discharge by area. Okay, so it become velocity is equal to discharge by area is equal to breadth into height. You got my point? Okay, so once again write the equation. E is equal to H plus V square. Instead of V square you can write Q square divided by B square into H square into 1 by 2G. Yes, you got my point? Okay, just substitute the value of the velocity. Okay, just substitute the value of the velocity. Okay, so here you got the value. The velocity is equal to, now you got E is equal to H plus Q square divided by 2G into B square into H square. Yes, right? Okay. Now just rewrite the equation. Okay, just rewrite the equation. Q square divided by 2G B square into H square is equal to E minus H. Yes, is it correct? Okay, sorry. So now you can write Q square is equal to E minus H into 2G B square into H square. Okay. Okay, once again you write Q, just okay, square root of both side. Q is equal to B into root over 2G into H square minus H cube. Yes, right? Okay, just rewrite the equation, simplify this equation. Okay, this is the final equation. Okay, for maximum discharge, okay, for maximum discharge Q, okay, Q is the discharge. For the maximum discharge, expression EH square minus H cube should be maximum, because this is the constant terms, okay, breadth, and here this is the G, okay, acceleration due to gravity is constant. So only the term is going to change here, the depth. Okay, we are going to find out the depth. Okay, we are going to find out the maximum discharge conditions for the specific, for a given value of specific energy. You have to find out the value of H. Okay, here H is going to change, right? So the Q is directly proportional to the EH square minus H cube, right? This EH square minus H cube should be maximum. If the Q maximum, what happen? EH square minus H cube should be maximum. Yes, you got my point? Okay, so the differentiation of this, it will become 0, right, for the maximum or minimum. Okay, the differentiation of this term with respect to depth, okay, this term with respect to depth should be is equal to 0. So the conditions, the differentiation of the equation EH square minus H cube, okay, with respect to H is equal to 0. Okay, so it will become 2 into E into H. Okay, see here, H square, differentiation of H square with respect to H is a 2H, right? So 2H into E, 2EH minus H cube is 3H square is equal to 0. So 2E is equal to, this H is going to cancel out, okay, divided by H on both sides. Okay, so this is going to cancel. Okay, it become 2E is equal to 3H. Okay, so E is equal to 3 by 2H. Okay, E is equal to 3 by 2H. You got my point? See, this is same conditions you already studied. We know that E minimum, the specific energy is minimum at critical depth. Okay, E minimum, the specific energy is minimum at a 3/2 times of the critical depth, means the E minimum, the value of the specific energy, okay, value of the minimum specific energy is equal to the 3/2 times of the critical depth. Okay, so specific energy is minimum when it is equal to 3/2 times the value of critical depth or critical flow. Okay, in equation A, it shows that specific energy E is equal to 3/2 times of the flow depth, right? 3/2 times of the flow depth. Okay, in equation, this equation. Okay, so in equation it represents the minimum specific energy and H is critical depth. Okay, the minimum specific energy and H is the critical depth. So conditions for the maximum discharge for a given value of specific is that the depth of flow should be critical. Okay, from these two equations, we come to know that the maximum discharge, okay, maximum discharge is occurring at a depth of critical, right, at a critical flow. The maximum discharge will be the critical flow. So the conditions for the maximum discharge for a given value of specific energy is at a critical depth, okay, at a minimum specific energy. Okay, you got my point? Okay, okay, next go for the numericals. The specific energy for a 3 meter wide channel, the specific energy for a 3 meter wide channel, 3 meter wide channel is to be 3 kg meter per kg. Okay, what would be the maximum possible discharge? What would be the maximum possible discharge? Maximum possible discharge. What would be the maximum possible discharge? Okay, you just read the questions. The specific energy for a 3 meter wide channel is to be 3 kg meter per kg. Okay, so you know the unit of this specific energy is in head, right? It is in meter. So 3 kg meter per kg. What would be the maximum possible discharge? Okay, you have to find out the maximum possible discharge. The given data, width of channel, just read the question. The width of channel B is equal to 3 meter, right? The specific energy for a 3 meter wide channel is to be 3 kg meter per kg. What would be the maximum possible discharge? So the width of the channel B is equal to 3 meter. Next, specific energy E is equal to 3 kg meter per kg. Okay, specific energy E is equal to 3 kg meter per kg. Okay, so next solution. You know the equations to find out the discharge. Solution, not discharge, specific energy. Okay, solution. What would be the maximum possible discharge? Okay, you have to find out the maximum possible discharge. The maximum possible discharge is at the critical depth. Just from the derivation you come to know that the maximum possible of the discharge is occurring at a critical depth. The critical flow is the maximum discharge. Okay, so you know the equations for the critical depth, right? You know the specific energy is equal to 3/2 times of the critical depth. Okay, 3/2 times of the critical depth. Okay, so critical depth, you know the specific energy is 3 kg meter per kg. Okay, so you can find out the HC by using this equation. HC is equal to 2/3 into E. Okay, is equal to 2/3 into, what is E? E is 3 here, so it will become 2. So HC is equal to 2 meter. You got the critical depth is 2 meter. So next go for to find out the maximum discharge. The maximum occurring at a critical depth. If using this depth, okay, you will get the maximum discharge. So Q max Okay, maximum Q max is equal to area into velocity, velocity maximum. Okay, area into velocity. So what is the area? How to find out area? Area is equal to B into depth of flow, depth of flow into velocity. Yes, got my point? So we know that the maximum discharge is occurring at a critical depth. So Q max is equal to, so by using this equation, B into depth of flow is critical depth, right, HC, into the velocity at the critical depth is critical velocity, VC, right? Q max is equal to B into HC into VC. Okay, so critical velocity VC is equal to, the formula to find out the critical velocity is G into HC, right? So is equal to, just find out 9.81 into HC is 2 meter, right? So what is the value? Just check it. Is 4.424 meter per second. Okay, got my point? So Q max is equal to B into HC into VC. Okay, you got the value of velocity already. So what is the value here? B is 3 meter into HC is 2 meter into VC is 4.4249, right? You got the value 26.576 meter cube per second. Okay, this is the value of the maximum discharge. The specific energy for a 3 meter wide channel is to be 3 kg meter per kg. What would be the maximum possible discharge? So such a questions, already they gave the discharge, they gave the specific energy. So by using the specific energy you can find out the critical depth, right? Critical depth, you know, the specific energy is equal to 3/2 times of the critical depth. So you can find out the critical depth by using that critical depth. Okay, you can find out the critical velocity. The formula is G into root over G into HC. By using, then you got the velocity and critical depth. You can find out the area into velocity. You will get the maximum discharge. Okay, is over. Okay, next go for the very important topic, the hydraulic jump. Okay, hydraulic jump. Hydraulic jump or standing wave, or standing wave. Hydraulic jump or standing wave. You know what do you mean by hydraulic jump? Okay, hydraulic jump. See the figure. Okay, there is a small slope. Okay, there is a very little slope. Okay, and this is the flow, and uniform flow takes place. First it is uniform flow takes place and gradually increase the depth and suddenly fall down. Okay, if there is some obstruction. Okay, this is the obstruction. Okay, there will be a sudden. Okay, see here, this is the uniform flow. Just take it as already you studied in the uniform classification of the uniform flow and non-uniform flow. Already I divided and shown the figure. Okay, now take this is the section 2 and here it is taken as a section 1. Okay, from here to here the hydraulic jump takes place. Hydraulic jump. So you just see the figure. See, consider the flow of water over a dam. Okay, so shown in figure, consider a flow of water over a dam. The height of water at the section 1-1. Height of the water at section 1-1 is small. Okay, height of the water at a section 1-1 is small. As move towards downstream, the height or depth of water increases rapidly. See, suddenly increase in the depth. Okay, suddenly it's going to change, increase the depth. This is because of the section 1-1, the flow is shooting. The shooting flow means supercritical flow. Okay, the section 1-1 is shooting flow or supercritical flow or or it is called as a tranquil flow. Okay, so when it passes, when the water, okay, when it is due to the transformation of from the supercritical to subcritical flow, the flow takes place from the supercritical to subcritical. See, this is the subcritical. So when the depth of the flow is higher than the critical depth is a subcritical flow. When the depth of the flow is lesser than the critical depth is a supercritical flow. So hydraulic jump takes place due to the transformation of the supercritical flow to the subcritical flow. Okay, when the hydraulic jump takes place, a loss of energy due to eddy formation and turbulence occurs. Okay, there will be a lot of energy is going to loss in the hydraulic jump. Okay, see here, now go for the expressions for the hydraulic jump. Expressions for the hydraulic jump. See, before deriving the expressions for the hydraulic jump, the following assumptions are made. There are different types of the assumptions we made before deriving the expressions for the hydraulic jump. The first one, the flow is uniform. Flow is uniform. Flow is uniform, and pressure distribution due to hydrostatic pressure on before and after jump. Okay, see here, flow is uniform and pressure distribution due to hydrostatic pressure, okay, before and after jump. This is the first assumption, the flow is uniform. Okay, and second assumption we made, the losses due to friction on the surface of the bed of the channel are very small. Okay, the losses due to friction on the surface of the bed of channel are very small and hence neglected. Okay, the friction at bed, right, at the surface of bed is neglected, is very small. Okay, the value of the friction is very small, so it is neglected. Okay, the third assumption we made, the slope is very less, right, is a very small slope. The slope of the bed of the channel is small, so that the component of the weight, you know, when it is water is flowing in this slope, what happen? When the water is flowing the slope, what happen? There will be a component is going to develop, right, in the flow directions and in the vertically downward directions. Okay, in the flow directions and is perpendicular to the flow directions. So here the slope is very small. Okay, slope is very small, so the weight of the component in the flow direction is very small and it's neglected. Okay, the weight of the component, okay, weight of the component means weight of the water in the flow direction is very small and neglected. You got my point? The weight of the water in the flow direction is very small and neglected because the angle, the slope is very small here. So now consider the hydraulic jump formed in the channel of horizontal bed. Okay, consider a hydraulic jump. You just see the figure. Okay, see here, this is the hydraulic jump slope. Okay, so hydraulic jump takes place. Okay, you know, this is the section 1-1 and here it is section 2-2. Okay, from the supercritical to subcritical flow. Okay, see, consider a hydraulic jump formed in a channel of horizontal bed, the two section 1-1 and 2-2 before and after the hydraulic jump. This is the before the hydraulic jump and it is after the hydraulic jump. Okay, this is the bed. Okay, see here, the D1 is the depth of the flow at section 1-1. Take it as a D1 is depth of the flow at section 1-1. d2 depth of the flow at section 22. Okay, d2 is the depth of flow at section 22, and v1 the velocity of flow at section 11. v2 is the velocity of flow at section 22. Velocity of flow at section 22. v2 is the velocity of the flow at section 22. Okay, next z1. Okay, z1 bar is the depth of the centroid. Okay, depth of the centroid is the depth of the centroid at section 11 below free surface. 11 below free surface. Okay, z2 is the depth of the centroid. Okay, is the depth of the centroid at area. Okay, depth of the centroid at section 22 below free surface, below the free surface. Over. Next, a1. Okay, a1 is the area of cross section. Okay, is the cross sectional area at section 11, and a2 is the cross sectional area at section 22. Okay, see, this is the parameters. The depth d1, depth of the flow at section 11, d2 is the depth of the flow at the section 22, v1 is the velocity of the flow at section 11, v2 is the velocity of flow at section 22, and z1 and z2 is the depth of the centroid at section 11 and 22 respectively. a1 and a2 is the cross sectional area at section 11 and 22 respectively. Over. So here see here, you know, there will be a pressure distribution is acting. The pressure is pressure distribution is acting at the section 11 and section 22. Okay, at section 11, see the pressure P1, just take it as P1, and at section 22 is, take it as a P2, P1 and P2. Okay, over. So here the forces, there are different forces are acting on the mass of the water between section 11 and 22. There are different types of the forces are acting between the section 11 and 22. The first one, the pressure force P1 on section 11. See, pressure force P1 at section 11. Next, second one, the pressure force P2 at section 22. Pressure force P2 at section 22. Okay. Now third force, the frictional force. Okay, the third one is frictional. The third one is frictional force on the floor of the floor of the channel which is assumed to be negligible, negligible. See here, there are three types of forces are acting between the mass of the water between the section 11 and 22 is the pressure force at section 11 P1 and P2 at the section 22, and the frictional force and the frictional force in the floor of the bed is negligible. Okay, so you know the discharge q, you know discharge, right? Small q is the discharge per unit width. You know discharge, it is the discharge per unit width. Okay, q by b, already you know, right? Discharge per unit width. So the formula is v into d, right? The velocity into d, because you know the discharge q is equal to a into v. Okay, so here q is equal to b into d into v. You got my point? Okay, breadth into depth into velocity. So if it is q is equal to q by b, right? To find out the q is the q by discharge by width. Okay, so it will become, then q become, okay, here b is going to cancel, b into d into v divided by b is going to cancel out, so it will become dv, so vd. Okay, so discharge q, discharge per unit width is equal to vd. You know, as per the continuity equation, okay, the discharge at the section 1 1 and 2 2 are equal, right? So it will become v1 into d1 is equal to v2 into d2. The discharge at the both, discharge per unit width at the both sections are same, so v1 is into d1 is equal to v2 into d2. Okay, you got my point? Okay, now the pressure force P1, one section 1 1. Okay, the pressure force, what are the pressure force acting at the section 1 1? P1 is equal to pressure force at section 1 1. This is the number 1 force, section 1 1. Okay, now you have to find out the pressure force at the section 1 1. Okay, so what is the formula to find out the pressure force? P1 is equal to rho g into a1 into z1 bar. Okay, rho g into a1 into z1 bar, you already studied these equations, right? So here instead of area you can write b into d1. Here b is assumed as a unit, okay, unit width. Okay, here rho g into a, instead of a1 d1 into b is 1 into z1 bar is the centroid is a d1 by 2, because it is a rectangular cross section area, so centroid will be half of the depth, right, is d1 by 2. Okay, you got my point? So p1 is equal to rho into g into d1 square divided by 2. The same case, pressure at section 2 2. The pressure at the section 2 2. So it will become P2 is equal to rho g into d2 square divided by 2. The same thing. Okay, same derivation. Okay, now the net force acting on the mass of water between section 1 1 and section 1 1 and 2 2 are P2 minus P1. Okay, is the net force acting on the mass of water between section 1 1 and 2 2 are P2 minus P1, because the P2 is greater than P1. Why? Because P2 is greater than P1, because the depth at section 2 2 is more, right? So you can write P2 is greater than P1, because why? Because H2 is greater than H1. Here the depth of the flow is greater than depth at the section 2 2 is greater than depth at the H1. Okay, so here the P2 minus P1, so the final you can substitute the value, the rho g d2 square minus rho divided by 2 rho g d1 square divided by 2. So rho g is a common term, divided by 2 into d2 square minus d1 square, right? Take it as equation number, okay, 2. Okay, keep as it is. Net force acting on the mass of water between section 1 and 2 is rho g divided by 2 into d2 square minus d1 square. Okay, next go for the apply the momentum principle. Okay, go for the phenomenon of a momentum principle. Okay, here according to the momentum principle, the net force acting on the net force acting on the fluid must be is equal to the rate of change of momentum is equal to rate of change of momentum in the same direction already you got the net force. Okay, you already got the net force in the section between 1 and 2 already you got, right? The equation is number 2 is rho g by 2 into d2 square minus d1 square. You got my point? Okay, next according to the momentum principle, the net force in the section between 1 and 2 is equal to rate of change of momentum in the same direction. Okay, so next go to find out the rate of change of momentum. Next you have to find out the rate of change of momentum. Next you have to find out the rate of change of momentum. Okay, so is equal to mass of water per second is equal to mass of water per second into change in velocity in the same direction. Okay, mass of water per second into change in velocity. So here the mass of water per second, already you know how to find out mass of water. How to find out? Just leave the mass of water per second, just find out the mass of the water. How to find out? Is the density into discharge, right? Density is kg per meter cube. You got my point? Okay, kg per meter cube. And discharge, okay, discharge is into volume. You have to find out for the mass of the water density into volume, so you will get a in kg. So but here mass of water per second means kg per second, so the unit of the density is kg per meter cube into meter cube per second. Okay, into meter cube per second means discharge, right? Kg per meter cube into meter cube per second, this is the discharge, right? So you will get a in kg per second, mass of the water per second. So here you know, here instead of discharge you can put the value of the discharge per unit width into width. Okay, so mass of the water density into discharge per unit width into width. This is the term. Okay, so now especially you're going to find out the mass of the water per second, mass of water per second is equal to rho into discharge per unit width into width. Okay, rho into q into, okay, into width. Okay, rho into discharge per unit width into width. Width is 1 here you are going to consider, right? Unit width you are going to consider. Rho into q is in meter per second, right? Sorry, kg per second. Okay, is the mass of the water per second. So now you got the rho into q. Okay, this term you got rho into q. Okay, rho into q. Next, change in velocity is equal to v1 minus v2, because we are going to take it as the change in velocity, initial velocity minus final velocity, because the net force is acting from the right to left, means the velocity force is acting from the section 1 to 2. So initial velocity minus final velocity. Okay, so hence you write the equation v1 minus v2. So now go for this equation. The rate of change of momentum is equal to mass of water per second is rho into q into change in velocity is v1 minus v2. Okay, so Once again you write the equation rho into q into v1 minus v2. Take it as equation number 3. See, this is the rate of change of momentum. Already you got the equation rho g by 2 d2 square minus d1 square is the net force acting. So as per the momentum principle is the net force is equal to rate of change of momentum. So equate the equation 3 and 2. Equate equation 2 and 3. Yes. So you'll get rho g by 2 into d2 square minus d1 square is equal to rho into q v1 minus v2. Okay, this is the net force acting at a section 1 and 2. This is the rate of change of momentum. Okay, so now rho g by 2 into d2 square minus d1 square into rho into q v1 minus v2. So rho is going to cancel out, is in both sides. Okay, you got my point. Now you know, already studied q is equal to v1 into d1 is equal to v2 into d2. So instead of v1 you can write q divided by d1, and instead of v2 you can write q divided by d2. Got my point? So here g by 2 into d2 square minus d1 square. Okay, you can simplify this, is expand this. Okay, d2 plus d1 into d2 minus d1. Is it right? Okay, the d2 square minus d1 square is equal to d2 plus d1 into d2 minus d1 is equal to q into, instead of v1 you can write q divided by d1 minus q divided by d2. Is it? Okay, once again you can simplify this, g by 2 d2 plus d1 into d2 minus d1 is equal to q into d2 minus d1 divided by, okay, instead of q here q d2q, okay, just you write q into d2 minus d1 divided by d1 into d2. You got my point? Okay, d2 into q1, d2 into q, d1 into q. You got my point? Okay, just q take it as a outside, q into d2 minus d1 divided by d1 into d2. Okay, over. Now simplify this. So d2 minus d1 is going to cancel out. Okay, d2 minus d1 is going to cancel out. So once again you write g by 2 into d2 plus d1 is equal to q into q, okay, is equal to q square divided by d1 into d2. Okay, over. Now multiplying d2 on both sides, multiplying the d2 on both sides, you will get d2 into d2 plus d1 into 2q square divided by g into d1. Is it right? Okay, already you got the equation is g by 2. Okay, just multiply here. Okay, 2 by g. Okay, 2q square divided by d1 d2 and multiply the value d2. Okay, multiply the d2 on both sides. Now the d2 square plus d2 into d1 is equal to 2q square divided by g into d1. Is it right? Okay, once again you can write the equation, simplify, or d2 square plus d2 into d1 minus 2q square divided by g into d1 is equal to 0. Yes. So here now you can write the quadratic equation. Okay, quadratic equation in d2. Okay, you know what is the quadratic equation? The quadratic equation is, how to find out, is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Is it right? Okay, you can find out the value of the x by using minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. By using this equation you can find out quadratic equations. Okay, just see here, instead of x is the d2, right? X square plus d1x minus, here see, just check it. Okay, by using the x, this equation, quadratic equation, you can find out. So d2 is equal to minus d1. Okay, see here b. Okay, minus b. Got my point? Plus or minus the equation, plus or minus b square minus 4ac b square, b is a here d1, okay, d1 square, minus 4ac, 4 into a, what is the a is 1, okay, 4a into c, c is 2q square divided by g into d1 divided by 2 into a is 1. Okay, simplify this. d2 is equal to minus d1 plus or minus, okay, root of d1 square divided by this, okay, d1 divided by 2 you can write, okay, and d1 square divided by, when it coming inside the root it will be 4, so d1 square divided by 4 minus, okay, this is going to cancel out, okay, so it will become 2q square divided by g d1. Okay, over. See here, you got the value minus d1 plus d1 divided by 2 plus or minus divided by in plus root over d1 square divided by 4 minus 2q square divided by g d1. So there will be two roots of the equation. Okay, one is plus and another is minus. So two roots of the equation. The first one is d2 is equal to minus d1 by 2 minus root over d1 square divided by 4 minus 2q square divided by g d1. Okay, over. And second equation, d2 is equal to minus d1 by 2 plus root over d1 square by 4 minus, okay, see here, instead of minus it is will the minus, right, minus minus it will become plus, okay, so it will become plus, okay, sorry, see here the minus 4ac, here the c will value will be the minus, okay, so plus it will become plus 2q square divided by g into d1. Over. So see the first term is minus on both sides, so the value will be the minus. So the first root is not possible because it is the minus, okay, minus depth is not possible, so you no need to consider this d2, this first root, because it is a minus on both, so it will become the final answer, it will be the minus, so the depth, okay, is not possible, so here it is going to neglect, so only possible value here, okay, minus d1 by 2 plus d1 square divided by 4 plus 2q square g d1. So this is the equations to find out the depth. d2 is minus d1 divided by 2 plus root over d1 square divided by 4 plus 2q square divided by g d1. So instead of q square you can put the value v1 into d1, okay, because you know q is equal to v1 into d1. d2 is equal to minus d1 divided by 2 plus root over d1 square divided by 4 plus 2 into v1 square into d1 square. Instead of d1 square, this d1 square is d1 is going to cancel out, so is d1 divided by g. Okay, so you got the depth. If you know the values of the depth at the section 1 and velocity, as you know, you can find out the after the jump. You can find out the depth after the jump. So depth of the hydraulic jump is equal to depth of the hydraulic jump is equal to h2 minus h1 or d2 minus d1, okay, is equal to d2 minus d1. So you got the value d2 is equal to minus d1 divided by 2 plus root over d1 square divided by 4 plus 2v1 square d1 divided by g. So you, after you got in the value, you can find out the depth of the hydraulic jump is equal to d2 minus d1. Okay, you got my point? Okay, thank you. Okay, next, the expression for loss of energy due to hydraulic jump. I will continue in a next video class. Okay, thank you.